I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Is my mic on back there? No. Here comes a DC-10. Hey, I'm not hitting you on saddled anymore, so am I up? Thank you. And we're going to switch over to Santiago, see if we get it there. There. And up on Santiago. Roger. And good afternoon to folks watching on KTLA.com and KTLA Facebook Live. We're heading over here to Idyllwild for the Cranston fire that kicked off about noon. And right now you see a large header of smoke. That's in the city or area of Idyllwild. Evacuations are underway for that area. It's spread from quickly up to now 800 acres. And right now we have the tanker 10 group coming in, or 10 tanker group coming in with their DC-10 coming up the 74 here, working their way up towards the fire. They have evacuations underway. They've called for 10 air tankers coming in and as many heavies as they can get. And here's their first one coming in that we've seen. I saw the MD-87 leaving as we started to approach. But right now you see 10 tanker DC-10 coming up the valley here, working its way up with a 1,200 gallons or 12,000 gallons of Phos-Chek or fire retardant. They're going to drop out here to start slowing this thing down to keep it away from the houses. And off to his right, probably about 2 miles, is another tanker, MD-87. So they're putting everything they can on this fire to slow it down and protect these homes up here. So it is really burning quickly up this hill. It's driven by terrain right now, very dry humidity out here in the fuels. So right now the firefighters have a big job on their hands to knock this down. But like I said, they're using every bit of assets they can get their hands on down here. We're hearing helicopter crews in there protecting houses, as well as structure protection groups on the trucks and engines down there with hose lines. But looking at this, it is a big fire over a large. All right. I'm just over the 74 here, coming up the valley. All right, 8,700 right now. And as we're coming in, checking in with the air attack aircraft overhead. All right, I'm looking for you. Got you. Are they pretty quick there at Ryan? Oh, he's only got one radio. Anyways, we're coming in here. You're starting to see the first area of fire here. This is southwest of Idyllwild, along what they're seeing as the area southwest of Idyllwild, Inspiration Point, Double View Drive. You follow that on down to Mountain View. That's the area it's working. It's right in the southwest portion of the city of Idyllwild, and a lot of evacuations are in progress right here. They do have the 74 closed down by Mountain Center, so you can't get up this direction. Also, the 243 is closed as well coming through this area. So they're only letting people out. They're not letting anybody in up here because of this rapidly spreading fire. But right now you see right in here the road's coming up. It's burning all the way around. And we're hearing unconfirmed reports that this was intentionally set. But right now the investigation continues on that to find out what exactly caused this. It is really burning rapidly up the hills due to the topography here. A lot of uphill, a lot of valleys here, and a little gentle wind coming out of the west is kind of helping to get along. But I tell you, smoke plume is going right over the top of Mount San Jacinto, and I'm sure it's visible to everybody at Palm Springs as well. So right now, major brush fire burning here southwest of Idyllwild, and we're just now coming on scene, and we'll be with you through the 3 p.m. show. So we'll get you the latest as we can with the evacuations, as well as progress of the firefight going on here. But just looking at this from my prior experience, this is going to be a multiple day fire because of the area it's in, because of the lack of accessibility to the fire lines. They're going to have to use air tankers to be able trying to do as best they can to you know, get on this thing and slow it down. But that big DC-10 is way out to the east, making a turn back in towards the fire. But yeah, he's just kind of reconning it, and that MD-87's right behind him. So they're doing a heavy tanker attack on this, and as well as the smaller S2Ts down in there, dropping their 1,600 gallons or 1,200 gallons. They've got a lot of assets here, and hopefully they can knock this thing down. But it has really hit some good brush down here, which is putting up a lot of smoke. And then with a large smoke like this, you have that spotting going on ahead of the fire. So I'm kind of coming around the southern portion of the fire and looking over here to see what's going on. I am looking up towards the north there, and not seeing structures in that area, but there is a housing area right there. You see it right there, Rich, that little top of that hill? Aircraft going over the top of it. I don't know what side they're really concentrating on. I want to see over here. Well, let's go over onto that side. I'm going to move over to the north. I don't think he dropped. He's pretty tall here, and also he's still in a turn. All right, we're going to make a turn here off to the northeast. Get on the northeast side of the fire. You see tanker, which one is that? Tanker 914 coming through from the 10 tanker group. So they're out here hitting this really well. They'll probably do their refueling either at Victorville or reloading at Victorville or San Bernardino, where they work out of both. So the turnaround time for these guys is pretty quick. It'll go right under us, Rich. So right now we'll see what's going on over here on the northeast corner of the fire. It's burning straight up the valley, and unfortunately getting up in that area is going to be kind of tough because the smoke is laying right up that valley. So I'm going to come around here underneath the smoke column and work my way over here to see what might be on this side. And here comes the MD-87 right behind the same route here. So pretty much I think they're just doing their recon runs here to see what they got, give an idea where they're going. Here he comes. He carries, I believe, 16 or 1,200 gallons, 1,600 gallons. I can't remember the exact load on this one here, but right now it's they do paint really good lines. Now what their usually attack is to get out here and squeeze the fire in on itself by laying those phos-check lines up the edges of the fire to try to squeeze it in. But right now this thing is roaring through some pretty tall brush right there, as you see, and luckily it just is got nowhere to go. I mean, there are lines up here, roads up here to different little ranchos that are up in the area here, but right now you see the tall trees they've burned before. In there you see the blackened trees as well. So the trees like that give a lot of energy to it that they'll pick up out of that, and then from there, you know, that causes that spotting ahead and all kinds of other issues that they have with the firefight. They're going to come back around to give. The house right there. Yeah. Look, don't know what it looks. You can see right here, right up at the top of this hill. Just trying to see exactly. It might be some type of park complex here, right on the top of the hill, but the fire is below it. And so I'm going to make a turn here, Rich, back down to the south. Getting right up into the smoke here. So lots of fire up here. So I bet you they're going to throw a line along this sign right here just to protect the infrastructure up on top of this hill, because fire is definitely heading towards that little area. Okay, here comes the DC-10, and so go ahead, Stesk. .245, all right. Here you see the tanker 10 group with their 914 coming in, dropping that 12,000 gallons of Phosgec. Roger. Painting that line between the fire and the houses up in the top of that hill. So what that does is goes down, lays a retardant line, and then they'll start painting off of that. I'm sure that DC or that MD-87 coming in behind. You see how close that house right there is to it. So they're trying to stop it right there, and once again try to pitch that fire in on itself, keep it up that canyon, and not let it spread outside. So once they do that, it'll just let it burn away. So as we come around here, and here comes the 87 coming in. Going to probably pick up the same line as a DC-10. And looking back behind me here. I'll keep an eye on it. You see the tanks there underneath which hold the Phosgec or the fire retardant. He's got his gear down and flaps down. That helps him slow it down just a little bit so he can make that drop, because they want to get it slow down to about 140 knots or so, and anywhere between 400 800 feet above the ground. So they want to get a good drop on it. Actually, he just went on through. So right now they do a lot of checking, because they don't want to use the Phosgec up in an area that's not working for them. So if they don't have the area or not real sure exactly they'll hit the spot they want, they'll go back around and take a second run at it, because it's better for them to do that than to waste a load of retardant up here. So right now he's making a left-hand turn, going to come around the smoke column. And what they're doing is they're coming around and flying under the smoke column between the hillside and the smoke, working their way up in here. So and I'm going to watch for him to come around this smoke column here. I'm kind of working the north side of the fire here as it comes up over the hill. So there are a lot of houses down spread in these trees. A very populated area up here in Idyllwild, and so they have a lot of infrastructure they're trying to protect, as well as slow down the progress of this wildfire. But right now it's really going. I don't know if they have any containment numbers at this point. I said it just started at noon and has already grown to 800 acres, and I'm sure it's more than that now as we come around. I get a little bit of raindrops on my window, because there are big cumulus clouds going over the top of us, and there's a downdraft for me. And so right now, as we watch the smoke column, watch for the 87 to come around the corner here, we're going to keep an eye on the houses right along this fire line. But try to peek in there and show you what we have. But you can see the amount of fire in here, and there's a retardant line right there between the houses and that fire. So once it gets to the tops of these little hilltops coming up this valley, the best place to get it stopped, like you see that Phosgec line right along the hilltop there, is to get it as it hits the top and try to stop it from slopping over and going downhill on the other side. So here comes that MD-87 coming around the corner. Right in there. That's the lead plane right there. So he's the guy who will guide him in. And you'll watch the aircraft come in, converted passenger aircraft here. Sorry, he's behind us. Gear down, flaps down under the smoke, and here it comes. Right on the end of the line that the DC-10 dropped. So that structure's right there. That's what they're trying to protect. So the fight will happen here with these tankers, large tankers, because the fire, you see it burning very rapidly right there on the lower right-hand corner. It'll get into these trees, and a lot of dead wood up here, a lot of killed wood, down in dead wood up here. So it's got a lot of potential to run, make a real big run. And then with that fire load there, the heat, it can start that spotting process where it lifts those embers up way up over the top and drops them. Here, you see it hitting that dead tree right there and just flaring up. And that's what will happen. Flare up like that, and then pieces and parts of that tree will start flying off and landing downwind. At this point, probably only 50, 60 yards, but has a potential of a half mile to a mile, depending on the lift that's getting off that heat that gets it up into the smoke column. So a lot of things they worry about out here on this fire, but right now doing everything they can. So we're up here just southwest of Idyllwild in the city of Idyllwild, right below San Jacinto Mountains. This is in the area of the 243 and the 74 up in the hills here. So right now a major fight going on here that's going to go on for, I'm sure, the next several days. I'm going to get out a little wider so I can make easier turns for you. Get up next to this hillside, and I get some downdrafts up here, and also I'm getting rain. So. See a very large fire line here. It just came up over the edge there, caught some of those larger chaparral and brush down in here, and is really picking up the pace on the heat. And right now you see a little ST2 making a turn, going to come down towards that area, so he should be coming into the spot here. The ST2s carry about 1,600 gallons of retardant, and he'll come ripping down through here. You'll see him right at the bottom of the smoke here in a sec. There he is. And as he, it might be a spotter. Let me look. He's a long ways away from me. It's awful low. Let me look at it real quick. But anyway, is it? Okay, I'm not seeing any heavy behind him. Oh, that's a Bronco, so that's an OV10. Yeah, so that's a spotter. Anyway, so right now, watching the aircraft do their work here on the northeast corner of this fire, or north corner of the fire. Like I said, the 243 and the 74 are closed down, so you're not going to be able to come up the 243 from southwest of Idyllwild around Mountain Center. As 243 is going to 74 is going to be shut down around Mountain Center, and then 243 from Pine Grove to Mountain Center. So they're not letting anybody in, but they'll let you out and get people out of this area. Very restricted access up this way. 74 is the one that comes in to the area, and 243 comes through the mountains out of right at the Banning area down this way. And so there's not too many roads in and out of this part of the world. Anybody coming in? You see the OV-10 right there, spotter plane. It comes in, and they usually will make the run to see where they want to put the fire retardant. And usually they'll pop a little smoke sometimes to give the aircraft an idea of where to go. But I see the air attack that's overhead. Looks like he's in a King Air over the top, calling the shots down here. Also, there's helicopters working this south flank down here, getting up next to the houses for the structure protection. So right now, it looks like the helicopters working the south flank of the fire, and also the tankers working the north side. It's right there, helicopter coming in. These guys get right down in there with it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jen. Okay. Okay. And right here, watching the footage here from Sky 5 on 5 Live, the fire up here by Idyllwild working now, starting about noon, and working its way up to 800 acres, and I'm sure it's a little bit more than that. That was the estimate we got about half an hour, 45 minutes ago. But I can see it's really taken off up this hill. A lot of heavy fire up in the heart of this fire, working its way up towards Idyllwild. And right now, firefighters from the air are doing everything they can to stop it, as well as structure protection groups down there in that smoke, trying to save folks' houses down in there. But right now, it's really a bad deal up here in Idyllwild as this fire broke out, like I said, just about noon. Anything worth? Well, 243 comes through the hills up here. I bet you down in the smoke there. All right. I'm gonna make a turn back. Yeah, there's too much smoke over here. I'm gonna turn around, come back, and work my way back up over that hillside. So I'm going to turn around from the south side here. It's pretty much in a desolate area over here on the south side. Some houses and structures over here along the 74, and it's working up into the hillsides above the 74 here. I'd say north of the 74 for a general direction. But up here in the hilltop towards the city of Idyllwild, it's really getting in there. Okay. But here comes the OV. Yeah. West of the 243 and north of the 74 generally. All right. Yeah, I got a spot fire here kicking off right down here below us. So they show it's got a good jump here. It's right along a fire road. As you come out, Rich, you'll see right in there. You see it right there, pretty much right off the edge of that little fire road. That's what I was talking about earlier about these embers getting launched ahead. Okay, there comes the BAE 126 just came through. He more than likely, yeah, he looks like he made his drop already. Back up on the back side of the fire. So we've had the DC-10, the MD-87, now the BAE 126 coming through, hitting this. But here's one of those spot fires that kicked off, and from just a little bit of embers getting thrown out there in front of it. And now, see it roaring pretty good there. You see power lines right there along that road. It's a little fire road that works its way up the hill. And above there are some structures that they're dealing with. But this whole area is just dotted with these little housing complexes and ranchos up in the hills above the fire. So they have a lot of work to do here, and also a very large complex over here that we were looking at earlier. Almost looks like either a federal or a state type buildings right there in your shot. And the fire is advancing towards that. So right now they're working really heavy with the heavy tankers on this side of the fire. This is the north side of the fire, and to be able to protect this here. But not really sure what this complex is. It looks like small bungalows around it with a large conference area A lot of cars up here still. So yeah, they have been given the evacuation orders all in this area, southwest of Idyllwild. It's the booth. Go ahead. Yep. Yeah, you give me a wrap and I'll wrap. Coming back around. I'm just wondering what this is. This looks like a pretty darn big complex. Yeah, I'll fly right next to it, but it definitely has a bunch of bungalows and a swimming pool. And here comes an ST2 following that OV10, but that's okay. It's going to be on the left of your screen probably, or right there. There he is. And that's an ST2 making his drop along the Foss check line and turning out. Now he'll go back to him at Ryan, which is only about 5 miles away to reload. Actually, it's 13 miles away and to reload and get back. And so they're making pretty good turns as far as the retardant drops up here. So hopefully they can get a good line painted between these buildings up on top of the hill and the fire line. But you see how close it is right there. Big fire right there, yeah. Two and a half to cut in. Yeah, absolutely. I would just stick with the flames because they're going to be coming through there anyway. 90 seconds. I'm Tim Lynn aboard Sky 5. We're watching a large wildfire up here by Idyllwild. Broke out about noon and has spread to 800 acres now. Evacuations are in effect. Firefighting is going on through the whole area. Stay with us for the KTLA News at 3 for all the latest details on this fire here in Idyllwild. That's the latest. Let me sit. A little short. Sorry. I almost said, sent. That's late to the back to you. I almost went in my normal out. Darn it. What? Happy Wednesday, and you got blocked on the last part of that. Yeah, I automatically went to my SIG out, so. All righty. So folks still watching here on 5 Live, you're seeing the advance of this fire here up in Idyllwild as the firefighters work to try to contain it here on the north side to protect structures here as it works its way up the hill. But you can see how heavy these how heavy the fire loads are coming up to this fire line, and how tall the fuel is, the trees here, and along with the heavy brush in this area. So a lot of potential for this fire to grow and to rage ahead. We have seen spotting going ahead of this fire, so that's the things they deal with here as they deal with the firefight along this north side. They're using heavy tankers to come in here and paint a fire retardant line between the houses and the buildings that are up here on the hill. But right now, man, it's anybody's guess if they're going to be able to slow this thing down before it jumps their containment line up here. But we're up near Idyllwild where the 243 and the 74 join. Here up the fire is basically southwest of Idyllwild, running through the Double View Drive area down to Mountain View, and the 243, 74 evacuations are in effect. All right. Yeah, I see him down there. Yeah, I just made a drop. There's another one up here on the edge. They're just in the wildlife area here. I don't see any houses or anything over in that part of the world, but right here is where the real danger is. And as you're watching, as we're monitoring this fire, you can see just how it's burning down here and just working through this trees. And there's also already burnt vegetation in here from prior fires that have come through here. So Right now you see that low chaparral, probably manzanita type brush in here. Burns very hot, and we'll start that lifting process where the heat goes up into the smoke column, and that will carry embers up into the smoke column. And as it cools, it drops it down and spots ahead. We've seen a couple spots out here so far. You got ST2 coming around. Going to hit right where you're at, Rich, probably. If you come out of the white, you'll see it to the left. Made its run in, and you see the green Forest Service truck down there. And so they're all doing their best to get up here and get ahead of this fire, but airplane making its turn right in the smoke. He's covered by the smoke. He should pop out right in here somewhere. And then there he is, just popped out. And bailing out. He might have dropped down in that smoke, I don't know, but he got really down in there. Now he's making the turn out and working his way out. These guys in the airplanes are fantastic pilots to be able to get down in there, because they got to not only deal with the winds coming up that are naturally up here. The fires create their own winds, their own little weather system up here, and they have to fly through that and deal with the visibility of the smoke that's laying right on the ground next to the fire line. So it is really going. But right here, I'm looking, that's the very far east portion of the fire burning down in that little valley and working its way up. But it is a very wide fire, very big footprint, well over 800 acres now, I can tell you, just from looking out the window here. And then a whole line of houses down here along the top of this hill that the fire is advancing on. Yeah, all this area right here and that place we were talking about earlier. And you see how close right there they are to the fire line. Helicopters are working down on the south and west side of the fire, knocking down hot spots around houses and structures in there. And the big tankers are out here working the edges, trying to squeeze this fire down and keep it from slopping over the top of some of these hilltops up here. But right now, Phos-Chek line right along that smoke line, and hopefully it'll do a trick, and as the fire burns up to it, it'll start slowly going out. And talking about the fire retardant, it's a biodegradable substance made up of different salts. There is 2 different types of fertilizers involved with it, and basically what it does is it dries out the foliage and then coats it to where it just basically disintegrates and takes away the fuel, and also keeps the fire from getting to the shrubs, to where it'll slow it down. So hopefully when it gets to that retardant line, it will slow down and they'll take the heat out of the fire. And once they do that, then they can come in and do more of a cleanup on it to cut fire lines. But when it's this heavy and running up terrains, they can't get out in front of it because of the danger of the fire making a run on them. So they're very, very aware of the topography, of the winds, of the characteristics of this fire. But you can see how big these flames are. They are preheating the fuels ahead, and the more heat they get, the faster they go, and so on and so on. It's just a cumulative effect here as it comes along. It's going to hit this big bush right here on the in the screen, and you're going to see this bush just let go here because it preheats. You see right now it's going to start going, and pretty soon that'll be totally consumed with fire, and then that'll start launching embers up into the shrubbery ahead and possibly over that little road that's right there. But right now I'm over the 243 as it comes up out of Banning, working its way up towards Idyllwild. That's going to be shut off. You can't get up into this area. They will let you out, of course, for the evacuations. But right now, the main portion of the fire is heading up towards that 74, 243. Hey, coming out your window here in a second, there's a large complex right down here. I don't know if that's the city center or not. Well, here's looks like the middle of the city right here. It just came out of the smoke. Smoke is starting to go a little higher now, straight up. We're up at 8,700 feet, working over the top of this fire. And this has got to be city center right here. Looking out the window down to see, it's still a good distance from the fire. But right now there's a structures right here in the line of this fire coming over the ridge that they're dealing with. Right there, you see how close they are, the Phos-Chek line. fire retardant line right between them and the fire. Luckily, it looks like there's some rocky area there with a little less fuel, so hopefully that'll be a good break area for that fire to keep away from these houses. But the problem is up here, they have fire protection around them, safe spaces around them. But right now, this fire is so big, and the heat coming off, it's going to be so great that any kind of clearance they had around it may not even be helpful. Well, we'll see as it comes down the hill here. But there's big trees in this area, so right now they're going to have to deal with that. Slide back out here to the north, get a little better, clear up the shot. And for folks just joining us on 5 Live on the stream, Tim Lennevoort Sky 5 here over Idyllwild, watching this fire that kicked off about noon and has grown to 800 acres. We'll be coming up for the news at 3 and with all the details of evacuations and the areas that are closed off. But you can see right here, they're watching it from this fire road that works its way up the hill. And could you tell if that was downtown, basically, we saw back there? I just flew over it. Yeah, it kind of looked like it. Let me turn on to the right here. I'm going to get back pointed at it. I do now. Go ahead, Booth. All righty, perfect. Thank you. Well, yeah, there's that big area that has a bunch of houses and yards and businesses and Pine Grove, you think? All right. Yeah. This is, the southwest Idyllwild, working northeast. Pine Grove. It's right over here. That area right there. Yeah. Pine Grove. So Idyllwild's down over in the smoke. Right. 2 minutes. Roger. FX5 heard you coming in. 30. There's a DC-10. Well, this has been a very hard-fought fire up here near Idyllwild. As you said, started about noon. It's quickly spread to above 800 acres. We're getting unconfirmed reports that it was intentionally set, but the investigation still continues on that to confirm it. But right now, firefighters are doing everything they can to stop this on the northwest corner of the fire with large drops of retardant from a DC-10, an MD-87, as well as a BAE-126. So the heavy tankers are up here working this side, while the firefighting helicopters are down near town center trying to keep around the area of town center to keep it away from the structures. Right up on this side of the fire, like I said, this is on the northwest or northeast corner of the fire. There's a lot of structures up in the hills in this area. That's what they're trying to protect. But right now, their flame links are so big, and the fuel load up here is so large with these big trees, high shrubbery, and things of that sort, that we're getting spotting going on, as we've talked about on all these fires that we cover, is that the embers get up into that smoke column, and the heat from the fire puts it up and will drop it out anywhere from 50 yards to a half mile ahead of the fire. We have seen spotting, but you see some of the buildings that are in peril up here on top of the hill. This is just, I'll say, south west of Pine Grove up in the hills. Pine Grove is still a good ways away from the fire line, but this is burning well around the Idyllwild area. The 243-74 is affected by this. I'm going to tell you that you cannot get up to 243 from Banning up in this area. It's shut down, as well as the 74 coming up out of Hemet, getting these folks evacuated out of here. But right now, they're doing everything they can to protect these structures up here on the hillside. But right now, Mother Nature is against them with the topography driving this fire uphill, as well as the amount of fuel load and the low humidity and fire fuel humidity down there, just letting this fire rip along. But right now, it's going to be probably a couple-day fight to try to knock this thing down and keep it away from the houses. Normally what they'll do is lay these retardant lines on either side of the fire, try to squeeze it back in on itself so it burns into its own path, and then work it around like this. But right now, this thing is jumping lines and going across fire breaks that are already up here. And right now, since the time we've been up here for about the last half hour, it has really gotten close to this building right here. And there's a FOS check line, or a fire retardant line, between the fire and that building. But it looks like it's burning right up to it. We're going to keep an eye on that. But right now, they're doing everything they can. Evacuations are in effect, as you said, for the area all around Idyllwild up here. So if you get warned to go, it is time to go. The thing here is don't wait, because right now is the best time to get out of here before it is completely blocked off, because you can see the energy in this fire. This is a big fire with a lot of potential to take off, and that's what the firefighters are dealing with. Yeah, it's jumping the brakes just because of the size of the flames and the ability for it to preheat the fuels in front of it and launch those little embers over. We've seen a couple spot fires about 50 yards ahead of the main fire, so that's what causes problems for them. And like I said, there's fire roads up here and dirt roads that run through the area, and also they ran that big line of retardant through there. And right now you see this OV-10. That's an observation aircraft here, going to lead a an MD-87 through right behind him. Should be coming in and going to run this line. They've been working here to try to paint it to keep the fire away from these houses, but these buildings that are up here. But right now, it's anybody's guess if they're going to be able to slow it down, because it's just the size of the flames, the type of fuels that are down here, and the topography. Luckily, the wind is with them. It's not blowing that hard. It's just, kind of working its way through the area, gently bringing the smoke uphill. But the problem with that is the smoke kind of lays down up that valley, and it's making it tough for those firefighters in the helicopters to get in there for that structure protection group to take care of here. But here's the 87 making its drop and going to coat right along this fire road that's up here, using it as well as a Phos-Check line to try to get out in front of the advancing flames. Hey guys, 5's up here on air at 9,000 feet on north side. Clear? I'm off now. I'm, like I said, 9,000 feet. I'm working the north side of the fire, just back and forth. Yes. We're going to go to French Valley because they just shut down Hemet. I would say, hang on a second, F70 is 21 miles, so that's about 11 minutes. So probably I'd say just after 4. 4. Yeah, just after 4. They're going to take Colton out there. Who's asking? Who? Oh. Well, where's he at? Oh, there he is. No, he's going to come around. He's coming around for the fire. Probably going to come right into shot there. Surprised I haven't seen the DC-10 again. He's right up, coming up on the fire. If you come up to the fire, go to the left. There he is. Another high pass. There, yeah, right underneath us here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and he did. There was a ST2 out in front of him, is why he didn't drop. There's another one coming in over my side, swinging around. Okay. Picture only. Clear. Man, this 26 and the 87 are going head to head over here. Look out your window. Drops, raindrops. Raindrops and dirt. Man, see, it's just, that's muddy. Yeah, you can. 90. You talking to me, Ben? Yeah, we got some over here on the left flank. I don't have any burning, but it's definitely getting close. Huh? Yeah. Oh yeah, back up over here. All right, coming up. Yeah, updating this fire here. The Fos check drops continue here, but fire is getting really close to several buildings up here on top of this hill. As you see it starting to crest right in here. So right now the firefighters are doing what they can to keep it away from this area. You see houses in the tree line right there, as well as a little bit to the left. We should have homes in that area, but a big complex right over the top of this ridge is what they're dealing with. And then right now, unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to stop it over here as it comes over the top. But right now, you see how close those fire line is to these homes up in the hill. Like I said, this is near Pine Crest. I'd say southeast of Pine Crest by about 3 to 4 miles coming up the hill. And that dot you see on the screen on the camera, it's raining up here, and it's coming down through the smoke and dropping on our lens and on the aircraft. So hopefully we'll get a good thunderstorm through here with a good heavy downpour to help cool this fire down and drop and slow it down as it advances. But right here, fire line very heavy and working its way right along the 243. That's the road you see going right through the fire right there. So that's the one of the escape routes down towards Banning to the north. So you're not going to be able to get through there anymore. 74 on the other side as it works its way along. So a very dangerous and heavy fire load going up here. It's like you said, started at noon and has been advancing and growing ever since. Yeah, there is no commuting going on in the 74. It's evacuation only. They'll let you out, but they're not going to let you back in. And right over the top of Idyllwild, you see a fire, or actually an air attack airplane, the command and control airplane going through the shot. He is directing the tankers coming in, and they're using 3 different, what they call very large air tankers, the BA-126, the DC, or correction, the MD-87, and the DC-10 coming through here, making drops, doing everything they can to stop it. But they get so big that you get that spotting ahead of it, and right in this area here where we're looking, looks like that little spotting ahead of the main fire down in that canyon. So you see that there? The main fire off to the right, and then down in that little canyon, a fire breaks out. So that's the spotting they're dealing with. And with stuff like that, they can't get ahead of it, especially with any ground crews, because it may spot behind them, and then they'll be between 2 fires. And that's exactly what the ground crews can't have happen to them. And the command and control out here won't let happen. So it's an aerial firefight here on the north side as it works its way up this ridge towards the city of Idyllwild. But you can see houses scattered all through this area up here. So the loss of structures is more than likely going to happen, and that's just so unfortunate. But the firefighters and the aircraft doing everything they can to keep it away. It was down right onto the 74 going downhill, so the helicopters were working that side. There wasn't really a big fire load on that side, but it could have gotten bigger. We stayed over here on the north side because this is where it's really burning towards the main city up here. And right now, I'm just really worried about these folks up here as it burns up towards the 243. The 74 side, yeah, it's burning down towards buildings in that area, but not as rapidly and as big as it's up here. If we pan just a little bit to the left, I just saw an area here hit some fuel and just explode as it works its way up. And right now, right there, man, it just get up the side of that hill and then took off, and it's going to hit that 243, and then beyond that is where the city pretty much starts. So really a lot of folks in danger here as this fire is jumping the 243 and several of the lines up here along the top of the hills. I'm right at the top of the fire. Coming back around to the east or south. All right, 5's coming back down west, coming down west from underneath the column here, 85. God. Stand by, stand by. Okay, I got one of you way up here by the column on the top. Looks like you might be in a turn, so keep an eye out for you. Perfect, thank you. Go ahead, go ahead. Not a clue, buddy. It definitely isn't up where we're at. What'd you say, sir? There's a little town right down here. Okay. 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 Very good. Oh, chill. Like, this has got to be some kind of retreat or something down here. There's a boys' home up here, too. Yeah, there's a boys' home up here, up in Idyllwild. I don't know if that's it. Hey, Matt, can you check and tell me where the boys' home is? I'm on the north side of the fire, and I got a pretty good-sized complex down here. It'd be north of the 41 or 47. I'll try it again. 74, and south of the 243. 5's coming back around to the right. I'm up to 93. Great, thank you. Okay. I got you there, Brennan. And Matt, just to give you a heads up, I'm sure I told you before, I just want to confirm it. We're going to have to go to French Valley because Hemet has been shut down for fuel due to firefighting activity. I'll say 45 minutes. Idyllwild Arts. Yeah, he's supposed to be out there waiting for me, I guess. I don't know what the game plan is, so. Yeah, that's where I'm going for gas. Hopefully he'll be there waiting for me. I could probably make the whole show. a lot of optimism in that probably. All right, 240. Why is this not hitting the repeater? I'm looking at about 40 minutes on scene, 4-0. Plus we can shoot this as we're flying away. DC 10 off my nose. Okay. Yeah, he's not going to be anywhere near it. Okay. Thank you. Okay, you call that what art? Family? Did he make a drop? 2 minutes. 5's coming back around to the right. What? No, that's fine. I got the area pretty well down where it's at. I just kind of different names up here. All right. Get back up here in this corner. Just to confirm, 9's in the black and white, right? Okay, I'm passing you right now. That's fine. There's a house up in there? Yeah, there is. Yeah, and the fire is still advancing on buildings and homes up here in the hills just to the southwest of Idyllwild itself. You can see how large the flames are working its way up this hill towards this little house that's on the top of the hill. Then from there it gets into some of the proper Idyllwild area. But the firefight is continuing up here with the very large air tankers dropping a Phos-Check line to try to protect them. But, you know, with the size of the flames down here, the amount of fuel here, it's going to be a very hard job for these firefighters to slow this one down. This is a major battle, and as it works its way up, it's got a lot of fuel ahead of it, a lot of heat working down here along with low humidities. So everything that's working against the firefighters as this works up the hill. But you see right there on the top of that hill, The house just poised right there, and then this fire is just roaring up the hill. But it's still probably about 3 to 3.5 miles away from the downtown area of Idyllwild, but it's directly in the path of this fire. Evacuations are underway to get you out of here. The 74 and the 243 are the only ways out of here. So I heed the advice of the firefighters. Pack up, get out. Whether getting out is good. So right now we'll just kind of keep an eye on it as it advances on this house here on top of this ridgeline. Yeah, it actually started at noon. It was a very small spot fire working its way up, but it grew very quickly to 200 acres within about the first hour. And now that we've been out here for about the last hour and a half, it is well above 800 acres. Just from my time and experience here at Sky 5 watching these fires, the size of this fire is huge. You're just seeing the one side of the fire here on the what they call the left flank or the northwest corner of the fire. Where the major flames are going, but it is also burning down to the south towards the 74. And so right now as it works its way up. Now that's looking on the other side of the fire, Roger. Working on the other side of the fire as we look through the smoke. So you see it's in more of a flatland area down there, but still rolling hills. But the major part of the fire is up here coming up the hill towards Idyllwild. And like I said, it's going to be a real long fight here. I'm saying at least several days to get this thing slowed down and knocked down, but they're bringing everything they can to it. And right now they can't get out in front of it to cut lines, and they are doing the best with the retardant drops. But right there, it just hit another load and making a run. You see that black smoke coming up, telling you that the fuel load down there has a lot of heat to it, a lot of oil in that shrubbery and brush down there. And then those tall trees are also something. When they go off, they throw embers way up in the air and way out ahead of the fire line. But right now, this roaring up this hill, and you see now how close. Just in the time we've been up here, it has advanced at least a half mile up the side of this hill, and it's just chewing away at the fresh shrubbery and the brush, and those trees, working its way up to this area right along the top of the hill. Like I said, this is probably about, I'd say no more than 1.5 miles from downtown proper, but the road that runs up here, 74, is just going to be completely covered up here as it works its way up. So right now you see the flame links, that fire tornado as they call it, little area down there. The fire makes its own weather patterns down there and puts up a lot of heat, a lot of turbulence for those airplanes coming through. And then once it does that, that's the amount of heat that's going up, and everything in that heat column is getting lifted and dumped out ahead of the fire. So right now, a very strong fire working its way uphill, being pushed by a very light wind out of the west, thank goodness. If there was any type of wind up here at all, this thing would be just roaring over, and no way of stopping it. But right now, you see this little area right here at the middle of the screen as that flames advance on it. I'll have Rich push in. We have seen cars up and down these roads, and this area right here is the most populated area. You see some cars still in driveways, but as mostly just watching it with you, I'm not seeing too much traffic on the road. Trying to look, you see one van in a driveway right here, and so I don't know. I don't know if these people are trying to stick with it and stay as long as they can. But the problem is, yeah, that fire is coming right up on the road. That's their exit downhill, down canyon, down towards Hemet. And if it gets over these roads here, it's going to be hard to get out of this area. But right now, it's coming uphill towards this area. And once it crests the top of that hill, it's going to come down really quick on them. So I hope folks are taking the firefighters' advice and heeding the warning and getting out of here before it becomes too late. And a right turn back up to the east. Yeah, it's closed as you come up out of Mountain Center area, coming up off the flatlands up to 74. It's closed there, so they're not going to let you go through there. as it come up. And then the 243 is going to be shut down over at Inspiration Point area far to the west. Actually, it's shut down over by Banning, so they're not going to let you up here unless you're a resident that are closer to the Banning area. But that's where the 243 starts. They don't want anybody coming up here and shut down on that way. So they're not going to let you anywhere as near 243, pretty much closed down between Pine Grove and Mountain Center. So the whole area up here, there's only two ways in, is the 243 and the 74, and both of them are affected by the fire, and they're not going to let you by those roadblocks. The only people are going to be able to come out, as I said, but yeah, there's no reason to be coming up here at all. Firefighters are bringing in as much resources as they can. You don't want to get in their way or the folks trying to get out. Oh, it's huge. Oh, you see a CHP officer there working the road. I believe that's the 243 in here. Yeah, it comes all the way up from the valley floor, right about where the 74 comes up the hill, all the way up to Idyllwild. I mean, it's only a few miles from Idyllwild, so it's a huge run. And like I said, this is the 243 as it comes out of Banning. This is coming in to the fire area. So right now you see the authorities are up here trying to keep people out of here. And a little Jeep here making a U-turn here, heading back. You know, folks will do stuff, especially people that live up here. They try their best to take care of themselves, and you know they know what they need to do during these wildfires, and they'll get out of the way hopefully. And then you also have the ones that are stubborn who won't get out of the way and try to stay up here and battle us. But these flames are too big even for the highly trained folks that are fighting it. And right now I would definitely give everybody the word to get out. And as we come out here, I'm going to look straight down. There's a large amount of people on the road here. I'm right over the top of Idyllwild, and we're looking down to the south east area, actually the south from here. And there's a lot of folks on the road working their way. And I believe this is going to be the 74, maybe just one of the tributary roads that come through here. Actually, that's the 243 I'm looking at. It is just lined up with cars and folks sitting there with a fire apparatus as well, getting ready to go. So, it's people standing here watching a fire. Man, that fire could start right next to you from an ember. That could start behind you and trap you. I mean, this is not where you want to be. And hopefully the CHP officers coming down the road are going to run these folks out because, you're in harm's way. You're going to cause a problem for the firefighters. You're going to start having to focus their attention on protecting you. And that's the last thing they need to be worried about right now is they're trying to protect people's homes that live up here. And now we have, people that turn out kind of just watching the fire burn. But if Rich, if you see those, let's pull out and show them where the fire is from there. So, I mean, they're on that turnout, and then right up the road, you'll see the fire. So it's not that far away. It's spotting ahead. All it's going to take is the wind to start kicking up here in the afternoon, and it's going to be a complete game changer for these folks. And once it crosses over that 243 or the 74, you're not going to have a way to get out of here. So not a smart idea to be a looky-loo in a big fire like this. Well, they're not, well, yeah, they can't go up the hill towards the fire, but you don't want to sit down here and wait for it to come to you. So, I mean, it just, from a law enforcement perspective, having dealt with, people in evacuation situations, they sometimes don't want to leave. But the problem is once you get them out, then they kind of collect somewhere else, and you got to race over there and chase them out of there. And then it just takes away from the resources up here and puts a lot of undue stress on the first responders and the firefighters up here just trying to do their job. So hopefully CHP will come along here and encourage these folks to leave the area because they may think they're a long ways from this fire, but they really aren't because it's right there as it comes up. And it's a long line of fires you were talking about, Glenn, and a big area. So, there's not just a little small fire over the hill from you. There's a big fire all the way down the valley working its way up here northbound. All right. And 5's making a turn back down to the west. They're right under a thunderstorm. That's okay, I can't see it. Actually, it's a little bit to our east, thank goodness. I hate it when the radar shows me a cell nearby and I can't see it because of the smoke. Yeah, for the folks watching on 5 Live, still keeping an eye on this fire as it works its way along the ridge line here just southwest of the city of Idyllwild. Still very large flame links and also very dry fuels here, but right now it's looks like it's burning its way up to the top of the hill and to a retardant line, so hopefully the retardant will slow it down and kill it as it approaches it. But right now, a very dangerous fire in the Idyllwild area, well over 800 acres, started just about noon, and what they're investigating is possibly intentionally set, but they have not confirmed that yet to us. You see right there, it's burning right up to the retardant line, but the problem is it gets up in those trees. As it comes around here, you'll see it right into there, but it hits those trees, and the problem is it can drop across a retardant line. So that's what they've been trying to do, is squeeze it in on itself here, and looks like it might be holding it to a point, but right there you see how tall the fire is, and the retardant line is right there, and it's spotting across. You see it right there? Yeah, it's spotting right across that fire road and across the retardant line. Yeah, yeah. Hey, 4, you up on 8-5? 4, you up on Bravo? TV4, are you on Bravo? TV4, are you on 8-5? turning around. Five's coming back down to the west. I'm going to talk about the Foscheck line and the okay. All right. All right. Yeah, it's, oh, you know, is that better? Dozens. Can't believe you just said that. Okay. Any people down in there? Yeah, it's right to these houses right there. Yeah, right where you're looking. TV4, TV5, you up on 8.5? Yeah, I'm up here at, right now at 9,700 on the north side of the fire. Roger. Yeah, I'm going to come back around. There's a house right there's. I can't see. Sometimes I can't tell the difference between a rock and a house on this monitor. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is just off the 243. So. Oh man, that is really running. All right. All right. Oh man, look at over here. I stay with the houses. No, I agree with you. Stay with the houses. I'll just, you know, being a looky-loo there. Yeah, there's helicopters coming into this area. There's one coming right where you're at, but stay right there. He'll come to you. I want to come out to your door and look straight down here. Stay on that shot there, but look at it's coming up here to the left of where you're shooting. Yeah, see that? Got a 87 coming in from my side here. He's carrying a long line bucket. Yeah, he's got the OV-10 ahead of him, going right underneath us. Oh, he's coming back around. The helicopter's coming back around. Let's stick with these houses here, though. That's the. Yeah, he's got the long line bucket. Yeah, don't worry about the drop. I mean, yeah, bump shot, bump shot. Coming around to the right. Right. Clear. Yeah, absolutely. 1 minute. Yep. Man, it is just roaring. Oops, get away from the smoke. Any people moving around down there you can see? All right. That's fine. Is there a retardant line up in there? Or is that just the ground? Yeah. Yeah. That just looks like dead grass. Coming back around. Ah. 45. Get out of that smoke that just popped up there. You see that smoke just moving? What's causing that? Man, it just all of a sudden the wind changed, I think. Yeah, it's wind just changed. Yeah, you're seeing this fire advancing on these homes right at the top of that ridge we've been talking about. There's been a bit of a little wind change, not much, but enough to turn that fire a little bit up into these trees, and it's right there. You see it getting up to the trees that surround these homes. There's hundreds of homes on this ridge line up in these trees and up along the hill here, and down below them is houses as well. It looks like it's starting to spot ahead just a little bit. But right now, these folks are in peril. This is just about 1.5 miles to 2 miles southwest of Hemet along, I believe it's the 243 that's the main road that's up into this area. And I can tell you that the fire has really grown in size well above the 800 acres that they were talking about. And you can see as it's burning through the rocks and the chaparral and also the large trees that are down here, it's just spotting ahead. And right now, it's making its march into this housing area right there. You see all those houses speckled in among those trees, and the fire is now burning in the grass behind that one house. And firefighters are trying to get in here with a helicopter. One came through, tried to make a drop. As you can see now, the smoke is starting to cover that area, which will hinder the fight by the helicopters and the air crews and the heavy tankers coming through here. But right now, hopefully they're able to stop this somehow behind these houses, but I don't know about that. The way this fire has been acting and the speed of which the fire is burning, it's going to be just luck that keeps it out of this housing tract at the top of the hill. So right now, I'll keep an eye on bringing the latest as it becomes available there. Glenn, Lou, let me send it back down to you. Clear it, thank you. Assignment Desk Sky 5, all right, we need to head to French Valley for fuel. Okay. Yeah, they got pretty good fire clearance there. I'm getting that grass. Construction. I'm going to take one more spin around. Okay, this is right below me is Idyllwild, right? Yep. So that's burning. I want to say southeast of Idyllwild, along the jump to 243. So it's past Idyllwild and then 243, right? Yeah, 243 goes through Idyllwild, right? Yeah, I know. The fire is. I mean, yeah, the fire's on both sides, 243. But I'm right. Yikes! Getting right in, right over the top of 243 in Idyllwild itself. So, all right, let's Hayaku out of here towards the French Valley. Flying through a camp. What's SNR? Good. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, get up. Downdraft right there. And Cranston air attack helicopter TV5. Oh. Damn it, he was talking. Go ahead. Go ahead. You tell him. Huh? Oh. Hey, Assignment Desk Sky 5, can you drop us off live 5, please?